So now that you've faced it, the next step is, what are solutions? What are practical actions that I can take to deal with it? That's where everything gets better. So that's the most important, or one of the most important things from this exercise is for you to take action to deal with whatever it is you were resisting. Practical steps, solutions. And by doing that, you'll gain the energy to deal with other problems that you're resisting. And you'll develop a mindset or an attitude that when you have problems, rather than run away, you'll run into them. That'll be a new way of acting, a new paradigm. So, who would like to share what happened for them in the last 45 minutes? Any realizations, discoveries? You can share anything you want. Even it could be just even the fact that I became aware of what I was resisting was very important. Yes?
A lot of pain and fear came up. And I started talking about it. I thought I could be more clinical and something that had been going on for a long time. So I thought I could be
objective
and clinical about it. But no, I really felt the emotions swelling up, and the practical actions that I see on the horizon that are coming up that I'm going to have to take also fill me with a lot of fear. But at the same time, there's excitement.
You finally fixed the problem.
Yeah.
That kind of excitement.
Yeah, it's hope.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what I wanted you all to get out of this. Or I assume that what you went through, everybody more or less would go through. I mean, the fear, it's kind of obvious, but that's why we're resisting it. And one definition of fear is the belief of my inability to handle a situation. So based on that definition, we would run away from it because of the concern that I won't be able to handle it, and if you can't handle it, it's painful, and that's why I fear it. And the way and it's so good to handle it, because you feel that, well, I could do this with everything, and I don't have to run away from problems. Yes?
I faced before my problems,
But I still?
don't find a solution.
Oh. The reason you don't have a solution? You tried to look for a solution? It may be because some things are not in your control. We're talking more about internal solutions. If you're looking for a solution which involves change that someone else changes, then that's not a solution because you can't do that. So it has to be something within your power to change. And it may not be a full solution, but it may be a solution in the sense that you're living with it, even though externally it's not a solution. Yeah, you never can make a solution which depends on another person. I mean, you can, but your solutions want to be, how will I deal with it? This reality. Or let's say a reality of I am a certain way by nature, and it's causing problems. So then I can't change that nature very much. It's so deeply ingrained and inborn. But how do I deal with it? I may be very, by my nature, very hot-tempered. I can control it, but it comes up. So how do I deal with it? Things of that nature. So don't resist that part. And don't make solutions based on situations changing that you may not be able to change. Because that becomes more like blaming the situation for the problem. And I'm not saying situations aren't problems. All I'm saying is you may not be able to change the situation. Okay. Who else would like to share? Yes.
I actually have a question.
Okay. You come closer and then I'll repeat what you're saying. 'Cause I'm having a hard time. You have family ties with
Like,
other devotees?
no, they're karma. So like we cannot just break up because it's like family ties.
You have family ties with family who are
Yeah.
not devotees.
Yeah. And we have to deal with them sometimes, and then they're like senior, and we cannot even preach them because they're senior.
You have to deal with them, you respect them because they're
Yeah.
senior.
But Prabhupada said, like, I don't remember, I'm sorry where, but Prabhupada said that like we could not compromise our sadhana for anything.
We should,
But-
Prabhupada said we shouldn't compromise sadhana for anything.
Yeah. So, but
So-
our authority tells us to deal with it. So how do
Deal
we
with
deal
your
with
parents.
these situations?
Yeah. How do you deal with your parents? That's the question. That's what you're resisting? Also?
I didn't get it.
You're resisting dealing with your parents or just confused?
No, I just don't know how to deal with this.
Don't be a fanatic when you're around your parents. Don't be a fanatic anytime. But I don't want to give detailed instruction, but I'll give a general principle. That Prabhupada gave the principle, everything you do should help your bhakti. Everything, you should do everything to help it, avoid anything that's detrimental. And sometimes what helps it and what's detrimental is not black and white. So watching a movie with your parents might help it because then they think you're normal and they stop bothering you.
Yeah.
And going there saying, I'm not going to watch any movies, because that actor eats meat, all these kind of fanatical things, may create more resistance and friction, which in turn creates more problems for you in the relationship, which in turn creates problems for you in your Krishna consciousness. So sometimes doing something which doesn't seem to be Krishna conscious may, in the long run, facilitate more Krishna consciousness. So that's just a principle. It also will depend on what your parents want from you and how far you can go. But use that principle as a compass. Does that help at all? Or still confused?
I'm still like really confused. because-
Really?
Yes, because it's about my parents. I can.
Why don't we talk
understand.
later? Because
Yeah, sure.
it's not exactly on this point. Okay.
Yeah, thank
We
you.
can after class. I can talk more.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. Yes.
When you say about that you have to change the internal solution, you have to have internal solution or something like
Yes.
You mean, how can you give some example of that?
Internal solution.
Like you said, if you look at it, I mean, of course, you can look at it in so many different ways.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have, but more like,
A lot of. I'll try to make maybe a broad generalization, which would have the most. Maybe it's not so broad, but something. This is based on my experience. Usually, when we have problems, we've either created them, we've reacted to a situation in the wrong way, and it has much to do with our own state of being, state of consciousness, state of perception, how we see things.